Hello. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Good to see you. It's good to see you. It's good to see you all. Since I did and be giving updates on now that the Shedeur Sanders season has ended with the Cleveland Browns for the 2025 season. They're in off season. I'm gonna give you what the latest grade they're giving Mr. Shedeur Sanders up there in Cleveland and what the latest hot talk comments are being said. Cleveland does never cease to amaze me. Does not cease to amaze me on what's going on in this media. It's like nobody was tapping into the Cleveland Browns. They were like team irrelevant in the NFL outside of Myles Garrett until Shedeur Sanders got there, and now they're relevant. And Shedeur Sanders was recently in London being honored by a soccer team over there. There was some social media posts on that, and they still speaking Mr. Shedeur Sanders' name in Cleveland. They're still speaking his name. But again, going to touch on the latest coaching carousel, latest updates on there, a little bit on Shedeur Sanders, and then give you the latest and greatest on Baker Mayfield. There's some social media back and forth going on between Baker Mayfield and the media with the comments that he made about Kevin Stefanski, y'all. Feel free to drop y'all comments in here, good, bad, or indifferent. Let me know what you're feeling, and I'll definitely respond to it. So the latest in the NFL, it's been something else. Either all the NFL teams that had coaching openings right before the clock strike midnight on the night of the college football national championship. Robert Saleh and the Tennessee organization and the owners inked out a deal where Robert Saleh is going to be the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. I reside down here in the ATL, and there's a lot of people that are not happy. Kevin Stefanski was hired on by Arthur Blank, and the new president of operations there, Matty Ice, that used to be the quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, those dirty birds here in the ATL. I reside down here in the ATL. This is where I retired at. There's a major part of the fan base is not happy with Kevin Stefanski being hired because of all the negative media spin that was being done on Kevin Stefanski. You have to take it, use that information as you wish. A lot of people were glad to see Kevin Stefanski get fired and let go from Cleveland. But there's a saying that another man's trash is another person's treasure. And by no means am I calling Mr. Kevin Stefanski's trash. I'm just speaking on the cliche, another man's trash is another person's treasure. It is not the Cleveland, Atlanta Falcons, large part of the fan base is not happy at all with Kevin Stefanski being named as the head coach. Today is Wednesday, December 20th. I got some lagging going on the the coach that everybody wanted when it was a shock that Jim Harbaugh got let go by the Baltimore Ravens. Report to the general manager. He reports directly to the owner of the team. They actually did his press conference yesterday, announced Jim Harbaugh on Tuesday, January 20th, as the new head coach for them. Down in Miami, Jeff Hartley, he's the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Um, the previous head coach, Mike McDaniels, he was supposed to go to Cleveland today and show up for his second interview for head coach, but the news dropped earlier today that Mike McDaniels, the previous head coach for the Miami Dolphins, he went and turned down being interviewed for the head coach position. He was supposed to show up today for a second interview. He has sent the reason why he turned it down was that he is now the new offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Chargers. That's right. He's the new offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Chargers. I think that'll be a good thing for Justin Herbert up there with the Chargers because he just really hasn't been progressing. That young man, he has a great talent, but he has not been able to go win playoff games, go deep in the playoffs. So hopefully Mike McDaniels may be able to elevate his play there. Now, Mr. McDermott, you know, who was the head coach for the Buffalo Bills, he was let go after that loss when it was Josh Allen was the one that had fumbles, was the one that had turnovers and lost the game. He single-handedly really lost that game for the Buffalo Bills. Still fought his way back. And they only lost the game by 3 points. I really wanted to see. I really thought with Patrick Mahomes being out with an injury and the Chiefs being knocked out, with my Pittsburgh Steelers knocking out the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson not being in there, I thought the pathway would be clear for Josh Allen to finally, Mr. Superman, to finally be able to win a Super Bowl. But he met another form of kryptonite and lost to the Denver Broncos. And that was a bittersweet win for the Denver Broncos because the Denver Broncos won, but Bo Nix fractured his ankle. I saw something on social media late last night that Bo Nix they're contemplating on him taking painkillers and wrapping his ankle up to see if he may be able to play in that game. Woo! For the love of the game, for the love Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders are still trying to they're still interviewing for their head coach. The Arizona Cardinals are still interviewing for their opening. The Cleveland Browns are still interviewing for their opening. And my Pittsburgh Steelers are still interviewing for their opening. We got Brian Flores, the previous defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. When Brian Flores is a previous also head coach, he still got his guaranteed paycheck. He did do a lawsuit against the NFL, and Brian Flores did win that lawsuit while he was out of coaching. He came on, and Mike Tomlin brought Brian Flores on, and now he's getting his second interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McCarthy's getting an interview for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's another name here. Chris Shula, grandson of the legendary Shula, that coached the Miami Dolphins back in the day, is interviewing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nate Skaleski is going to be interviewing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think by the end of I believe by the first week of February, several of these NFL teams should have who they're going to select as the new head coaches. So I just wanted to give y'all an update on that. Like I said, drop y'all thoughts in here and let me know what you feel. Let me know what you feel whenever you watch this live feed. So A lot of things still going on up in Cleveland. Like I said, reference Shedeur. Shedeur was over in London, uh, made an appearance over there with a professional soccer team. They gave him a jersey. They made him an honorary member or something like that. And then Cleveland is still talking about Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur is decompressing. He's out of sight, out of mind. But let's give you a latest update on what they are saying about Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. But first, before I want to do that, legendary quarterback, number 12 for the Philadelphia Eagles, Randall Cunningham. Let's see what he has to say about Shedeur.
Come off as arrogant or like I'm all of that. He is all of that.
Yeah, he confident.
And I like him. I love that kid. I've never met him before. I watch him. He really wants to stay calm and he just really wants to get through everything. And I'm telling you, once he gets the real opportunity to have all the weapons around him and a defense and everything, and they just say, okay, we're just going to go with you, you're going to see the same kid you saw in college. Most dynamic player, playing quarterback right now. The kid is good. He's really good.
Yes, the young man, Mr. Shedeur Sanders, is good. The situations wasn't ideal, when he went to Cleveland. And what's crazy is that he chose Cleveland. He chose the Cleveland Browns. He turned down being picked by the Philadelphia Eagles because he didn't want to be setting back for years, number 2 or number 3 quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. He turned down being drafted by the Baltimore Ravens because Lamar Jackson want to be setting back. Shedeur Sanders has a mentality. There's how supposed to get picked, in the first round. That's what Mel Kiper was saying, and other NFL analysts no later in the second season. Sabotage, collusion, nobody thought he would go past it. I don't know why it's current this evening, but I do apologize.
To compete, I think it'll be fair. I don't think he deserves to be handed the job. Do you, Ray?
No, I don't. But I just don't think they're. I don't think they're.
What we said before, Andy Berry's had 10 times he could commit to him, and he never has.
Okay,
so he's not his advocate.
Will the Browns draft a quarterback in 2026?
Possibly later. I mean, add a guy to the mix because there's all those club nicks now have gotten. They're almost like more attractive on the if come than first round.
Right. You don't have to spend capital on it.
So that's Tony Grossi, NFL reporter. He's been doing it for at least 2 to 3 decades. I know 20 years at least. Veteran ESPN sports writer up there in Cleveland. He writes on the Cleveland Browns. He's one of the insiders. He's you don't know what side of the tracks he's on. Before the draft, there's all kind of video footage where he was rooting for Shedeur Sanders. What Shedeur Sanders came to the Cleveland Browns. He was a big-time Dylan Gabriel supporter and was bashing Shedeur. Now that they found out Dylan Gabriel's not the answer, now he's in the middle of the fence, should I say. He's in the middle of the gun line, Tony Grossi. 1 week he's for Shedeur, 1 week he's not. He's more for him than against him now. And he tries to keep it even keel. So I will give him credit where credit is due. We'll see the owner, Jimmy Haslam's intentions, and Andrew Berry, the GM, what occurs if they actually do draft a quarterback in the late round. Right now, the quarterback room up in Cleveland, Ohio is Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Deshaun Watson. He got cleared the last 2 weeks of the season to be on the practice squad, and he worked out. He was looking good. I know he hasn't played in over 2 years, so there will be some quarterback competition there. So we have to see how that plays out. before Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles twice and tore his shoulder up and had to get uh, shoulder surgery. I remember Deshaun Watson at the University of Cleveland in college, and when he first came out and played for the NFL. Deshaun Watson was a bad man now. If he can be almost as half of that, you know, Cleveland may be able to get recoup some of their money back and get a couple of wins out of Deshaun Watson in the event he beats out Shedeur Sanders at the start of the season. But me, I got my wrist up for Shedeur, and I'm still supporting Deshaun Watson. I want to see him, do the best that he can and compete to the best of his ability. All right, let's see what else they're saying up there in Cleveland on Shedeur Sanders.
Let him win the job with this play. Let him prove it with his play this year.
I would start Shedeur Sanders. I just choose quarterback for one more year. And B, I can see some kind of a future there where possibly development.
Who?
So technical issues here with the streaming. So, please forgive me for that. I'm going to cut this short, but I want you to hear Lima. Anthony Lima, 92.3 The Fan. Just he has to say.
Unless a new coach will be part of the interview process, and he says, I can't win with that guy. But what I saw out of Shedeur was not that. Shedeur, as much as I poked the bear with the fan club, Shedeur to me has not been the problem behind the scenes.
Did y'all hear Anthony Lyman? Shedeur ain't been the problem. And then Lyman's trying to clean it up. So that's 92.3 The Fan up there in Cleveland saying he pokes the bear at the fan base, which he does. Sometimes he says some things. It's Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Sometimes he does say some things that get under my skin and the Shedeur Sanders supporter skin. He does things just so, clicks to raise up the ratings up there. He knows exactly how to poke the fan base. I will tell you that. I'm going to give you another thing on Anthony Lima here. A second comment on him.
This right, whether it's the head coach, whether Shedeur takes a huge step forward under the right coaching, whether they add a receiver, a couple offensive linemen, and all of a sudden you look like a normal offense, I would pick them ahead of Pittsburgh.
You hear what he just said? He's picking the Cleveland Browns, the dog pound, over my Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, we lost Mike Tomlin. He stepped down. A lot of uncertainties. So Browns are thinking that the front door has been kicked open and they can feel that they can win the AFC North if they get the right offensive linemen, if they draft some wide receivers, or if they go free agency and get linemen and wide receivers, boost up the offense. And to keep it real with y'all, I feel like the Browns has also a good opportunity to win the AFC North because it's anybody's division. John Harbaugh is no longer with the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin's gone from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Zach Taylor and the Bengals really ain't been doing nothing at all. They still kept their coach. Why, I don't know. Everybody thought he would be the first to be let go, but he's the last man standing. And depending on what the Cleveland Browns do, they got one hell of a defense. They may be able to do something this year. But it's been a minute. I ain't talked to y'all. At the bottom of the screen, it says, hosted by Double P, weekly airings. I was coming on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m., and then I haven't been consistent, so I need to come back on here and be consistent on when I'm going to drop regularly. I will try to say I was a little bit discouraged because I launched my new channel. It's Screaming across the stream, and it's right up underneath of my cheek in here. It says Premier Sports Media for you. I'm so close to 4,000 subscribers here on Premier Sports Talk, and I ask for you all support to just go over and subscribe to Premier Sports Media for you, because in 2026, that's where I wanted to do all my live streaming collaborations, and then keep all my short video feed posts here on Talk. Still subscribe to that. You can be live. So all of you who are already been a blessing to me and subscribe to Premier Sports Talk, I'm not going nowhere. And then when the new channel go live, I'm going to be sending out the for Shedeur Sanders up there, and then I'm gonna keep giving you the latest and the greatest. I'm Double P, host of Premier Sports Talk. Thank you for being a blessing, and may you receive blessing back double fold. Hit that like button, drop your comments, and subscribe to Premier Sports Talk and my new channel flashing across the screen, Premier Sports Media for you. See you when I see you.